So ignore my hair. I put lipstick on to cover the hair factor. It's just okay. So I was on YouTube, of course, and I was watching a video that actually had nothing to do with what I'm about to tell you, but I had an epiphany and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never talked about my worst date ever. I've never really talked about much, but the worst date ever is not on that list. So I want to tell you about my worst date ever because there's nothing funnier than laughing at really bad dates, except for when it happens to you. But you know what? We're just gonna ignore that. Okay, so we decided to go out to dinner, of course, where do dates usually happen. And this was our first date, so that really plays into, you know, you're really nervous, but you're really taking note, like you're writing down everything the other person does to make sure that they're the one. So we decided to go out to dinner, and it was not a really fancy restaurant, but it wasn't like McDonald's. So, you know, it was a dine-in restaurant. We were sitting in a booth, and I sat down on one side, he sat down on the other, you know, and I wrote that down because don't dates sit next to each other, you know? Anyway, so we were having a good time. I mean, I ordered a salad because you don't want like meat in your teeth, and we were just chatting, you know, small talk, laughing at some things. I accidentally laughed a little too hard on other things. And the waiter was flirting with me, which is totally awkward. You know, we were getting along, having a really good time. And then I guess conversation kind of died down because all of a sudden he was like on his phone. And I was like, hey, put that down, you know, talk to me. And our food had just arrived by this time. And he was just like, oh, hold on, okay, I'll put it down. But then like, after I finished a sentence, he kept picking up his phone, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so rude. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, I'm playing Candy Crush. And I was like, I couldn't believe it, like Candy Crush. And so I'm just like, you know, it's not that big of a deal, it's just Candy Crush. But then I was like, hey, do you want to, you know, order dessert? Because I like dessert, and I had a salad, so I was feeling pretty confident. And he's like, sure. And so I am just, you know, and he like is on his phone texting, checking his emails, and then I hear the delicious or divine. I'm just like, can you please put down your phone? He's like, I'm sorry, let me just finish this level. I'm like, no, I have sat here this whole meal. Harry, hold on. I was like, I have sat here this whole meal. Can you please put your phone down and just talk to me? Can you just talk to me? And he was like, Miriam, let me just finish this level. It's not that big of a deal. And I was like, Mom. For some reason I got that story mixed up with another one. You know, I'm actually thinking about this story. Totally got it mixed up. So, okay. So, scratch everything I just said, because that was actually with my mother. We're at the movies, okay? We're seeing a PG-13 movie, because ours is a little risky on the first date. And we just sit down, and it's not that crowded, so that's a good thing, right? And so we sit down, and right as the previews end, he was like, oh shoot, I need some popcorn. And I was like, really? We arrived 15 minutes early, you couldn't get your popcorn? Then he's like, oh no, I had to go to the bathroom. And I was like, okay, the movie's about to start. He was like, no, let me go get my popcorn. And I was like, all right, but I'm just gonna have to tell you everything that happens in the first 15 minutes. And the particular movie we were watching, the first 15 minutes were very crucial. And so, oh, hold on, my ear itches. So he left, And I'm sitting there and the movie's starting and I'm like, hurry up, it can't take that long to get popcorn. And it takes 15 minutes. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I don't know if like you're that way about movies, but I hate talking in movies. And I am just like, oh my gosh, I'm getting pissed off. I mean, I'm a girl. Sometimes girls get a little upset about little things, and I'm just gonna say, I was getting upset about a little thing. And so when he sat back down with his big tub of popcorn, I was like, Mom, really? You had to go get 15 minutes worth of popcorn? You couldn't get it before when we were standing in line? And Mom, are you kidding? You're playing Candy Crush? Well, I keep getting my stories mixed up with mom and daughter dates. Weird. So, let me just have a second here and think about a real bad date I've had. I keep getting so maybe I've never you know, I think it's actually time. I gotta go. Yeah, oh, sorry, time's out. Someone's calling me. Oh, hello? Oh, snap.